Well, a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Riverside Sports Complex in Nottingham, the 2019 Nationals, Seniors and Masters. And as we see, it's the women's 27s. We see Midland Tigers taking on the Southwest Saxons, and we're a couple of minutes away from the half-time break. But just a little bit about this Seniors and Masters 2019 Nationals. We have the women's 27s and the women's 35s, and then the men's 30s, 45s, 35 and 40s. So plenty going on then over the weekend, and we're into the women's 27s, Midlands Tigers against Southwest Saxons. In the women's 27s, Midlands Tigers, Northwest Blades, Southeast Taipans, Southwest Saxons and the West Wildcats. So a chance here now for the Midlands Tigers to see if they can get their 6th of the morning. And looking down at this Midlands Tigers side, the women's 27. Likes of Sadie Meakin, of course, playing in her hometown here in Nottingham. Zoe Parrish from Nottingham as well, and Lucy Snape. Plenty of Nottingham representation, also alongside Emily Harding. Just a pause in play at the moment, making sure she's okay. She looks like she's getting back to her feet. So another score on the board for the Midlands Tigers, and they lead by 6 points to 2. Other players, including in this Midlands Tigers side, Hannah Suzuki from Cambridge, Tamara Slater also from Cambridge, Catherine Jones, Sue Ellen Goody. Plenty of familiar names that you might have seen in the Belief Elite National Touch Series. And here they come again, this Midlands Tigers side. They've had a relentless start to this first half as they try and drive towards their own 10-metre, looking to get over towards their subs box, get some fresh legs on. Of course, as you like in any of these touch tournaments that we've seen over the summer, it's important to keep the replacements, keep it fresh, plenty of high energy levels. This Southwest Saxon side, plenty of names, of course, from the area that you might recognise. Victoria Stevens, Bristol Fijians, and then On Bournemouth Lions, Cara Roberts, Rachel Keane, Kathy Farrer, also from Bournemouth Lions, and then of course Exeter representation, Emma Cole, Rebecca Fagg, and Bethan Siddle-Allen. Of course, we saw the introduction of the Exeter Raptors in the Belief Elite National Touch Series. A strong representation from the University of Exeter in the UTS Series. Here come the Saxons. Let's see if they can just get one before the break. Always such an important period in the game, in these touch rugby. 40-minute matches they are this weekend. 2 halves of 20. Short breaks in between games and at half-time. Oh, just lost the control on the 5 metre. So turnover now for the Midlands Tigers, and let's see how they're going to set deep inside their own half. Again, looking to try and get up towards that sub spot, run a sub move, get those legs on, and you can see them just wrapping around in that first move, trying to see if they can run onto as the move progresses up the field. And there goes the hooter. So final phase of play until half-time. Touch comes in, and there is the half-time whistle then in our first game of the day here in Nottingham, the women's 27s. Midlands Tigers taking on the Southwest Saxons. It is the Midlands Tigers who are currently leading by 6 points to 2 at the break. They'll be back for the second half in a couple of moments' time.
Touch because it's a game where you can play 14-year-olds and 60-year-olds together. You can play men and women, so you could have a daughter and a mum playing together, and it's a really good fun to play.
Boys are playing incredibly well. They're better than I've ever seen them play. We haven't used the full extent of our playbook, predominantly due to the weather conditions, but it's a slight shame. But they're doing their basics incredibly well, getting us out of the park and getting us into the scoring situation. And we're certainly enjoying it. So the thing for me is really the team cohesion. Winning these games, winning the goal was never the goal for these boys. My goal for them was to get as many of the age-appropriate lads into the men's open training squad for 2020. And it's just fantastic to watch some of them really click, really start to play to their full potential. And I'm going to work very hard with the men's open coaches to make sure the boys that are of an appropriate age get a shot at the opens level.
It's been tough.
So we're just about to get underway then for the second half. Midland Tigers taking on the Southwest Saxons in the women's 27. The Midland Tigers had a superb first 20, now leading by 6 points to 2.
Ladies and officials, this is your 1 minute warning.
Of course, we have to wait for the hooter. 1 minute warning just being sounded out around the ground. So a reminder that there is 5 categories in total this weekend here at the 2019 National Seniors and Masters. Women's 27s, men's 30s, men's 35s and 40s, women's 35s and the men's 45s all in action. And of course it's all split into regions over these nationals, so the best players from the regions all coming together and then playing up against each other. And of course these are the weekends where they get the chance to be in the picked for the high performance camps for the internationals. We saw the men's and women's opens squads announced on the 6th of September. That was after that bank holiday weekend that we had for the juniors and opens. But all our attention now is on the seniors and masters. And the South West Saxons looking to try and get off to perfect start in this second, but they've given the ball back inside the opening 15 seconds, and now the chance for the Midlands Tigers to try and work something up over the halfway line. There's a Lucy Snape in your picture from Cambridge. She gets it back now after a lofted pass over. This is a good transition from Midlands Tigers. Good movement up in towards the goal area, and it looks like they've got it down. And they have. Midlands Tigers off to the perfect start then. Really nice build-up again from the Midlands Tigers. And now the South West Saxons looking to try and respond with their first meaningful attacking phase of this second half. Looking to drive through the middle, but look at that compact middle defence from the Midlands Tigers. Really well organised, this Tigers setup at the moment. Oh, there we go, 6th touch already. Midlands Tigers really defending well. And again, looking to try and work it up and get the yards in every time they've got a chance. Using every touch so far over the halfway line, and then on comes the cavalry from the subs box. If we take to run onto over to the 10-metre mark in a central position, let's see if they move over and try and spread it out wide, stretch this South West Saxons defence. They don't. This time we see the Saxons try and move it over towards their subs box. So referees seen an infringement and turnover for the Midlands Tigers. The Saxons just need a bit of a spell of possession just to try and work their way back into this game. Wealth of experience and talent in this Midland Tigers side. Oh, lovely movement and a good skip away to the right, but equally brilliant touch just on the line. That was the 5th touch, looking to try and use the ball to get it out wide. It's something you'll see if they are on the 5th touch. These sides try and work the defence, maybe drive through the middle, switch out wide and try and create some space. But look at this high intensity pressure from the Midlands Tigers, straight away getting up and at them. trying to stifle him inside their own half. Saxons having to work really hard to try and get up towards the halfway line, and already they've used up nearly all their touches as well getting there, and there's a loss of control as they're trying to place the ball on the ground, so the ball has to be placed without the ball moving or running loose from the hand as the ball touches the ground. So loss of control and a turnover for the Midlands Tigers, and again every time making up some really good yards. Sadie Meakin looking for the cavalry to come on. Oh, and just a lapse of concentration. So a turnover for the Saxons midway inside their own half. Again, this Midlands Tigers defence compact, no real easy gaps through, and there we go, sixth touch. Couldn't find a teammate and just couldn't find any way through this Midlands Tigers defence thus far in this second half. Space potentially opening up on the left-hand side, just snatched it and couldn't claim it and go over the line. Patient build-up then from the Tigers, a bit different to their previous attacks. It's been a bit gun-ho and full of momentum, just patiently building this one up. But again, Saxons really having to soak up this pressure. So plenty of current women's 27s international players that have played previously, like Sir Cat Jones, Jenny Lee, Zoe Parrish in this Midlands Tigers side. Such an important weekend this if you're looking to try and get into those international camps. And with England Touch developing at such a fast rate, there's sides that are getting filled up, and it's becoming really competitive to get into any of the England sides at the moment. It's just the basic mistakes at the moment for the Saxons, combined with this consistent pressure from the Midlands Tigers defence, really doing well to try and stifle the Saxons every time. Good work driving towards the goal line, but just that final pass out towards that left side. Both sides just a little bit sloppy in their final passes in the past couple of moments. Midlands Tigers out still in control as it stands. Of course, all these pool games happening over today and then early tomorrow, and then we'll go into the finals of all these age groups. Oh, lovely run and a really good burst of pace and driving the Saxons up the field. They really need to utilise this now if they're going to try and get any foothold back into this game. Good early pressure though from the Saxons, really trying to stop Midlands Tigers getting as far as they can. That was Lucy Snape driving up the field over the Saxons' 10-metre mark. They come. It's a lot more composed at the moment from the Tigers, and an opportunity now for the Tigers. Fresh set of 6 just on the edge of the 10-metre, and these are the opportunities that you really try and capitalise on. Fresh set, really try and drive at this Saxons defence, which at the moment is holding it relatively well. Cat Jones just trying to weave in and out. There is Cat Jones again. Oh, good work going through the middle, and it looks like it's going to be a score for the Midlands Tigers. It is. Cat Jones linking up there. Really good tempo to that finishing phase. Midlands Tigers have, well, advanced into an 8-2 lead. And looking control at the moment. Saxons in desperate need now to get a score. 9 minutes remaining. These 40-minute games, it does give you time to try and mount a comeback if you are behind. Space potentially opening up, but touch comes in and turnover in possession. It's been the story of this second half, really, for the Saxons. Every time they've tried to get forward, they've just sort of run out of touches at the crucial moment, but that's partly due to the brilliant defence by the Midlands Tigers in this second 20 so far. Just having to wrap round slightly on the sub move there, Midlands Tigers. Just having to build the momentum again after some early good work to get towards the halfway line. So a reminder in this women's 27s, Midlands Tigers, Northwest Blades, Southeast Taipans, Southwest Saxons and the West Wildcats, all in the women's 27s, as the Midlands Tigers looking to add their 9th, and they do add their 9th. Referee confirms it for us. Space just opening up, and of course the defender couldn't move away from her line. No, it had been done for, she'd been penalised for deviation. You have to stay on your line as soon as you make the touch, as you're moving back to get in position, and the Southwest Saxons find themselves 9-2 down. Oh, and a lovely move from the Saxons. Just delaying that pass and delaying that pass, waiting for the perfect time. That's what the Saxons would have wanted after soaking up a lot of pressure from the Midlands Tigers. They've got themselves a score of their own in the first of this second half. Oh, and again looking to try and exploit through the middle. And they have as well, the Midlands Tigers. 10-3. And if you speak to any coach, that would be bitterly disappointing to try and to concede a try in the middle of the pitch. That's when you're meant to be so compact. Communication just lacking there for the Southwest Saxons. Fifth touch then for the Southwest Saxons, so a chance maybe to try and have to force something out wide, looking to go long straight away, but then comes the touch and that is the turnover. You can see Jennifer Palmer, the number 5 for the Southwest Saxons, just trying to fling that ball out to the wing. Just couldn't get into the right position. It's such a asset to have if you can get the ball out wide as quickly as you can with pace as well. So 4.5 minutes then left on our clock. And Southwest Saxons, it's just been a little bit frustrating in this second half. They've had a couple of chances to try and attack the line, but they've maybe not used the ball wisely. But Midland's Tigers have really defended well. They've been disciplined at the back. Coming forward, really good momentum and a drive through the middle. They've really tried to put the pressure on the two middles of the Saxons team. And again, trying to get over the line. It looks like they have as well, and they certainly do. Midland's Tigers in ruthless manner this morning. It was a brilliant take and dive, and you can just see the touch did come in the end, but it was way too late. A lovely little spin to try and get past their opponent. Oh, but there we go, another turnover for the Midlands Tigers, and again it just adds to the tally. The Southwest Saxons have just not been able to be clinical enough. Maybe it's just a lack of concentration and communication at the right times. Lots of these Midlands Tigers players, if you've been following us over the summer, been involved in the Leaf Elite National Touch Series and the European Championships in Maidenhead earlier on in the summer. It really has been a packed couple of months of touch rugby here in England. Lots going on. Oh, just getting away slightly with the pass, but look at the pressure. Almost 2 or 3 on their opponent, Midlands Tigers, every time they've got the ball. High line again, good defensive pressure. This is a bit better from the Saxons, really driving at this Tigers defence, and a brilliant run through and a terrific finish as well. It was Sarah Rosenberg just really saw the space and just utilised it as well and just drove through. And every score will just give them a little bit more of a boost going into the next game. So minutes go on our clock, and it is the Midland Tigers who've got the game sealed. Are they going to try and add a 12th? So seconds remaining, and of course you'll hear that hooter go off to signal the end of the halves. If you're joining us for the first time, following touch, there is the hooter. So the final attacking phase of this second half. Oh, and a lovely, mazy little run through. And that will wrap up this second half and the game. It was a brilliant score in the end for the Saxons. It finishes 11-5 in favour of the Midland Tigers. A great performance from them. They'll be looking to try and get as far as they can in this competition. Our next game will come from the men's 35-40s, and we're going to have a South East Taipans affair as the South East Taipans 35s take on the South East Taipans 40s in our next game here at the 2019 Nationals Seniors and Masters here in Nottingham.
Playing incredibly well. They're better than I've ever seen them play. We haven't used the full extent of our playbook, predominantly due to the weather conditions, but it's a slight shame. But they're doing their basics incredibly well, getting us down the park and getting us into a scoring situation almost every driving step. The thing for me is really the team cohesion. Winning these games, winning gold was never the goal for these boys. My goal for them was to get as many of the age-appropriate lads into the men's open training squad for 2020, and it's just fantastic to watch some of them really click, really start to play to their full potential. And I'm going to work very hard with the men's open coaches to make sure the boys that are on the age get shot.
It's been tough, but the result is exactly what we wanted. I'm incredibly proud. It was a really good campaign, and we've been very blessed with a very good cohesive team that has all worked together incredibly well, but couldn't have done anything without the assistant coaches of Keish and Catherine and Matt managing, and all the background help from the high performance team in Pippa. 13 debutants is probably a record for any junior touch team. I think I lost quite a few of the kids from last year, went up into 18s, managed to hang on to 3. The team just gelled straight away. We got working with lots of teamwork, and they just did brilliant.
Bronze first year.
Then we've had silver last year, and then we've done it. Finally got the gold. So I could not be more proud of such an amazing group and so much youth and talent in that team. Got 3 14-year-olds winning mixed 18s. It's incredible. Like, the future for England Touch it starts here and it's looking really, really bright.
Players and officials, stand by.
So welcome back then here in Nottingham, the Riverside Sports Complex. And we have a one-team affair here. South East Taipans, it's the men's 40s against the men's 35s. The men's 40s in the orange from left to right, and S35s from right to left. So only 2 sides in the men's 40s representing this weekend, the South East Taipans and the South West Saxons being placed in the same group as the men's 35s and 40s. Of course, we'll have the all 40s final of the South East Taipans and South West Saxons. They will already play each other. And then in the men's 35s, of course, so South East Taipans, West Wildcats, South East Sharks and the Midland Tigers all represented in that age group. It'll be intriguing to see how this battle pans out. Both of these sides will probably know each other very well and maybe looking to try and exploit the weaknesses that they know, and they'll know their strengths, of course. So in the men's 40s represents G-Force, London Scottish Red Lions, Horsham Tigers, Saracens, Galaxy London, a real mixture of clubs in the men's 40s. It's always an interesting dynamic when you've got all these players that come together from different clubs. How are they going to work together? Have they been training throughout the week? Have they met up a couple of times? Each region, each individual side is so different. The men's 35 side representing of CSSC, so maybe known as London Eagles to a lot of people. Galaxy London, Warwick, Canterbury. The coach for the South East Taipans men's 35 is Eric Williams. Applies his trade at the Galaxy London. He's been in the commentary box a couple of times with us over the summer. defensive experience in both of these sides. As looking at the squads in the South East Taipans, as of Dan Dyatt, Jonathan Elkin, Adam Faulkner, Adrian Fiat, David Fife, Chris Jenner, Eric Williams, of course, as just mentioned. In the men's 40s, that's Chris Bridge, Tim Hardman, David Harris, Kieran Higgins, James Hurrell, Guy Kent, Federico Peterson, Gavin Rickson, Pradeep Sivikantha, Colin Veach, who is also the coach as well. So we still remain scoreless then after the opening 5 minutes. Both sides just really cancelling each other out at the moment. Really good yards though made up, and trying to put pressure on the Taipans 40s defence, stretching them out to the left hand side, and the space opens up between the link and the wide man, and they executed it really, really well. So our first score then in this all South East Taipans affair goes the way of the men's 35s. Of course, this is such an important weekend for all these players that they're looking to try and get into those international camps. And one of those players who is actually not with us this weekend is Nicholas Heath from the South East Taipans, actually heading off to Japan for the Rugby World Cup. He's been a key man in the men's 35 setup, really giving a lot of advice and help towards the squad, and it's the reason why they are where they are. And as we see, the 35s looking to double that lead, and they certainly have done. So here's the men's 35, South East Taipans. They're currently leading the way by 2 points to 0. If you look in the age difference, maybe it was to be potentially expected. But so much experience in this men's 40s. And a really good range of ages as well. It's a game that can be played by everyone, which is the beauty of touch rugby. Really good yards and eating up the yards, as they'd say. Good momentum in this drive from this men's 35s Taipan side. Getting up towards the 5 metre, looking to try and spread it left. Stretching the defence of this men's 40s team, which at the moment are coping relatively well. Touch on the wing, and they've made contact. They've been disciplined then, and they have the turnover. Plenty of communication in this men's 40 side. And speaking, of course, of the importance of these weekend here in Nottingham about the selection for the internationals, well, we had the Opens and Juniors nationals up in Cambridge a couple of weeks ago, as the men's 40s look to try and get their first score of the afternoon. Let's see if they have done so. Just a bit of communication, bit of chat amongst the two referees. Oh, and they've ruled it 6th touch, so no score for the men's 40s South East Taipan side. Yeah, just going back of the juniors and opens up in Cambridge a couple of weeks ago over the August bank holiday weekend. It was a scorching one. It was a great weekend though. And those squads, for the men's and women's open squads I should say, were announced on the 6th of September. Of course, constantly building these England international sides. We had of course, the World Cup in Malaysia earlier this year. And if you have been following coverage over the summer, there's been a lot of chat about the conditions out in Malaysia and how much they really had to work fitness and nutrition. So a third on the board then for the South East Taipans men's 35s. At the moment they are having the better of this opening 20 minutes. Of course, 2 lots of 20 in these games over the weekend, so still plenty of time for the men's 40s. Over half an hour, just under half an hour to go. And there we go, that's the first one for the men's 40s. That's just what they'd have needed. Just a bit of hesitancy there. They thought it wasn't going to be given for a second. Let's have another look at this on the replay. Nice build up again. Really patient this time, the men's 40 side. There's the number 9, James Hurrell, going over. Really growing in confidence is James Hurrell, and his performances are getting better and better. Well, apologies there for loss of images, but the men's 35s have hit back straight away, and that is a real hallmark of this side, if they can hit back straight away. Let's see how the men's 40s then side do. Oh, and just loss of control, looking to try and build up on that second pass through the middle. Opportunity goes a begging. Really important you place the ball down correctly every time. You can't move that position of the ball as soon as where you've been touched is where you place the ball. And this is really nice play from the men's 35s. Good transition through the middle. But good work from the men's 40s this time around of the South East Taipans. Always really intriguing when you see sides from the same region, as we saw in the juniors and opens nationals, going up against each other. A lot of them will know their styles and their play, but on this occasion from the same region, just different age categories. Oh, just a loss of control. You can see the hands in the head. Conditions here in Nottingham, it is bright blue skies. There's a little bit of a chill in the air. It's we're getting to those autumn days here. middle of September. This is lovely play though from the men's 35s. What a brilliantly well-worked score that was. Lovely flow to the movement and the passing. So speaking to coaches and players over the summer, they always say that the minutes before and after the half-time break are so crucial. Oh, and again, just fumbling as running onto the ball. Is it just the momentum, lack of concentration? There's a bit of an early morning dew here in Nottingham, just making the ball a bit slippery maybe. The surface a bit moist, wet, often makes conditions a little bit difficult. Men's 35 side really defending well. You can see those two middles have really pushed up and tried to put the early pressure on. The touch comes in. They were waiting for it though, and now looking to try and attack straight away. You can see the speed after that touch. Just running a bit in circles at the moment though, the men's 35s. Good pressure there from the men's 40s, although looking to try and get round that early pressure. This men's 35 Southeast Taipan side. Really nice run onto the ball there, and the Southeast Taipans men's 35s drove through so nicely then, just carved through this men's 40 side. It all started with that initial pick up there and a lovely run onto the ball and opened the space, moved to the left. The space just really opened up. This men's 40s won't be phased. They'll just keep on trying to do their thing. Just try and keep composed, be patient. Just been those key moments when they've coming forward that have just let them down. Again, there's another opportunity that goes begging, just maybe a lack of communication. I'm interested to see if you can get the thoughts of the players, how often they've trained together. Could be a deciding factor. Of course, age will play a big difference as well. So just a minute to go then, and this Southeast Taipans 40 side putting under a lot of pressure, and that's well, not the greatest positions to give the ball away. Fresh set of 6 here for the Southeast Taipans 35s on the halfway line, looking to try and utilise this now. Can they have their 7th before the break? making that arcing run, but is some space potentially open in the middle, and well, it's not going to be this time around for this men's 35 side. Some space to work into for this men's 40s at the moment, but here goes the hooter. Oh, and a turnover possession, so we'll have one final phase of play, of course. And he gets the touch. And that will be half-time then. And it is South East Taipans men's 35s who lead by 6 points to 1 at the break. So a lot of work to do for this men's 40 South East Taipans. They'll need a good start to the second half. Well, don't go anywhere. Let's see if they can do that. We'll find out in a couple of minutes' time.
I got into touch because my eldest son, Clark Hobson, he was really into it, raved about it, and he achieved England standard. I thought, well, I could maybe do that. So I got into it through Nottingham Touch Club 3 or 4 years ago. Following my wife and both my daughters into it, after they'd been to a taster session there, they encouraged me to join them and enjoy playing touch.
Boys are playing incredibly well. They're better than I've ever seen them play. We haven't used the full extent of our playbook, predominantly due to the weather conditions, but it's a slight shame. But they're doing their basics incredibly well, getting us down the park and getting us into a scoring situation almost every driving step. The thing for me is really the team cohesion. That winning these games, winning gold was never the goal for these boys. My goal for them was to get as many of the age-appropriate lads into the men's open training squad for 2020. And it's just fantastic to watch some of them really click, really start to play to their full potential. And I'm going to work very hard with the men's open coaches to make sure the boys that are of an appropriate age get a shot at the opens level.
It's been tough, but the result is exactly what we wanted. I'm incredibly proud. It was a really good campaign, and we've been very blessed with a very good cohesive team that has all worked together incredibly well, but couldn't have done anything without the assistant coaches of Keish and Catherine and Matt managing, and all the background help from the high performance team and Pippa. 13 debutants is probably a record for any junior touch team. I think I lost quite a few of the kids from last year, went up into 18s, managed to hang on to 3. The team just gelled straight away. We got working with lots of teamwork, and they just did brilliantly.
Bronze first year, and then we've had silver last year, and then we've done it. We've finally got the gold, so I could not be more proud of such an amazing group and so much youth and talent in that team. We've got 3 14-year-olds winning mixed 18s. It's incredible. Like, the future for England Touch is, yeah, it starts here and it's looking really, really bright.
Business as usual, I must say. I'm quoting Sammy Phillips, High Performance, who has just said that, you know, we've been professional throughout the whole tournament. They have so much self-belief. and they absolutely love working for their team and putting on that England jersey.
Couldn't be happier. This has been a sensational weekend for England Touch. 4 gold medals. I think we've never achieved that before at JTC, and we're ecstatic. It shows that our high performance programme is working, and the athletes we're starting to create are fantastic, and we're so proud of them. Absolutely incredible.
Players and officials, stand by.
So back underway then here in this all Southeast Taipans affair. The men's 35s taking on the men's 40s. And the men's 40s, well, they'll look to try and get off to a good start in this second half. Long way to go to try and get back to level playing field, but they can try and get off to the best start they can. Chris Bridge just feeling the force then of a blow. Seems to be okay. And here come the men's 35s from that turnover, and you can just see the energy levels and the speed of which they can really drive through into the opposition half in a blink of an eye. Just needs support as the half, although I don't think it's going to be given. Just a bit of confusion. The players and the referees. And it has been turned over. So no score for the men's 35s, and we wait our first try of this second half. Good early work, good early pressure from the men's 35 side. You can see that sub-move for the men's 40s. They're really having to try and arc their runs round. It's not a free-flowing sub-move. It's a technique that the likes of the London Eagles, or otherwise known as CSSC London, to others, really try and use. And Cambridge as well in the Belief Elite National Touch Series. We saw that a lot, trying to go with the flow of the drive, the momentum with the sub-move. Oh, just taking it on the top of the chest. Really done well to hold on. Really working it from right to left, this men's 35 side in this attack. Trying to stretch this Southeast Taipans men's 40 side. Are they looking to try and maybe go out wide quickly? Not to stay compact in the middle. But again, a turnover. Opportunity goes begging. Nice little run here from the men's 40s, number 6, and spread out into the middle, but again, almost looked like it held up in the wind. That's sad. There's the slight breeze just going across this Riverside Sports Complex here in Nottingham. The pitch is in pristine condition though, even despite the early morning dew in the field. Just a loss of control on the 5 metre. Just hands it back over to the men's 40s, who are instantly trying to work it up towards their subs box. Fresh faces coming on. just mistakes creeping in to both sides at the moment in this early stages of this second half. There was some space opening onto this left-hand side. There was Pradeep Sivakantha who was there. The ball just goes over his head. The opportunity goes. Sivakantha, the number 16 in the orange and blue cap on. And he puts the pressure on. Colourful bucket hat worn by the number 12 for the men's 35s. Both teams just really struggling to have a substantial period of possession. Just trying to see if they can maybe use as many of the touches as they can. And that was pressure from the Taipans 35 side, but the 40s still in possession as they work towards the 10-metre mark. Lovely interchange, and almost just tried to hand it on a plate to Kieran Higgins on this left-hand side. Just an underarm throw up into the air, but it's a turnover. And again, every time the men's 35s have a possession inside, deep inside their own half, they really try and drive into the opposition half as quickly as they can and try and get as many touches to play with. So no scores in this second half so far. It's been a opening 7.5 minutes full of errors, really. No one's really been able to be clinical enough to get over the line, but this could be an opportunity potentially, although blocked by the Taipans 40s. So a fresh set of 6 then for this Southeast Taipans 35 side. Let's see what they can do with it. Oh, good dive early. But equally really good touch as well. You'll see that a lot, especially with the pitches as they are. People getting their dives in early, using the momentum and the surface to get over the line. Oh, fantastic take. We have to react quickly to that one as they try and work it over towards that left-hand side. Good spell of possession this for the 35s. First time we've seen it, really, in this second half. And again, another opportunity. Well, there we go, the first score then of the second half, and it goes the way of the men's 35, South East Taipans. Just that space in between the Wideman and the link. Of course, had to retreat on the line in that same direction, otherwise it would have been penalised for deviation. So that's got the space open, but it was clever play and patient play this time around by the Taipans 35 side. First time we've really seen either team have a good spell of possession, and they worked it well, they bided their time. And they're well on the way to victory over their counterparts. Good compact defence from this 35 side, who defend well as attack at the moment. Lovely jump and a run onto the ball, carrying on that momentum for the 35s, and a beautiful whipped out ball out towards that left-hand side, and an expert finish. And that's more like it from this men's 35 side. Daniel Dyer playing his trade at Canterbury with that brilliant pass. Experienced player is Dan at Canterbury. Played in both the men's Elite National Touch Series and the Development Touch Series as well. Daniel Dyer for Canterbury. Ball whisked out wide. Oh, just couldn't take it. It was Kieran Higgins. Usually has really good hands, but just not on this occasion. Again, just having to be patient. This men's 35 side. Good pressure from Federico Peterson, but works their way through in the end. Really good quick hands and an expert finish. And high fives all around for the men's 35 South East Taipan side. In the same age category alongside West Wildcats, South East Sharks and Midlands Tigers in the 35 category. So 4 teams in total, not as many of course in the 40s, only the 2 sides. Just getting in way of play there, and an opportunity now for this South East Taipans men's 40 side to really try and work something towards the line. Just under 6 minutes then remaining on our clock until the final hooter, so it have to be quite a miracle for them to really get back into this one, but perfect time to start now. Just a lack of communication and movement, and weren't too sure what they were trying to run there. But again, it's a mistake this time from the men's 35 side, and they can hand over possession to the South East Taipans, men's 40s. So they get another go, another bite at the cherry. Good movement away from his man. Just a loose pass though there, and it's a turnover now. Of course, huge factors we've mentioned all these players. I would love to, of course, try and represent England in their representative tides. It's always interesting to see what the balance is going to be like if, as an individual, looking to try and get into those squads and trying to work together as a team. And it looks like the 35s have added another one to the scoreboard. They certainly have. Well, brilliant take just behind him, actually. Really had to watch that ball sink into his hands, and he gets to the floor, does really well. And that's the double digits up for the 35 side. Speaking at the Juniors and Opens Nationals a couple of weekends ago. Really been a change in focus and mindset in terms of the Nationals weekend, in terms of trying to win it for your region, and then what follows, if you play well for your region and win the competition, is potentially a spot with the England sides. It's not all just about getting into that international camps. Sometimes these players also want to try and win for their region. And again, another opportunity goes begging for this South East Taipans men's 40 side. Just been the story of their morning, really. This is lovely build-up from the men's 35 South East Taipan side, and that is probably the try of the game. A brilliant flowing move, actually worked from the middle of the pitch. And it was just that little jink to the right, so it's just deceived the men's 40s defence, and quick hands spreading out to this right-hand side. And no problems with the finish. 11-1 on the score. And what a performance it's been from the South East Taipans men's 35 side. Well, the men's 40s have got another one on the board. It's taken them some time. They've really had to work hard for it at times. And they have their second of the game. And they've really kept on going. They've worked hard. They've tried to create opportunities for themselves, although it could be just the age difference, maybe the quality of the players. And again, look at the agility and the speed in this men's 35 South East Taipan side going into the final minute. They know that they're only seconds away from victory, just maybe buying some time. And maybe working a space through the middle. But that's the sixth touch, so it won't count. Really good defensive work from this men's 40 side. That touch just came in a nick of time. There goes the hooter, so the final phase of play. And there comes the touch. And there is the final whistle. And it is the men's 35 South East Taipan side who win by 11 points to 2 over their counterparts, the men's 40 South East Taipans team. It was always going to be a battling performance from this men's 40 side. They're up against it age-wise and maybe the quality as well. But it is the South East Taipans men's 35 side that come out on top. So our next game will be from the women's 35s, which will see the Northeast Raiders take on the Southeast Sharks. That will be coming up next.
I love playing touch because it's a game where you can play 14-year-olds and 60-year-olds together. You can play men and women, so you could have a daughter and a mum playing together, and it's a really good fun to play.
I got into touch because my eldest son, Clark Hobson, he was really into it, raved about it, and he achieved England standard. I thought, well, I could maybe do that. So I got into it through Nottingham Touch Club 3 or 4 years ago. Following my wife and both my daughters into it, after they'd been to a taster session there, they encouraged me to join them and enjoy playing touch.
That's half time. We're just coming up to the 2-minute warning. Make sure he takes a lot of water and hydrate yourself. Bit of sun moisture as well today, the sun's decided to turn up. Players and officials, stand by. Sorry, I was having communications. Players and officials, Stand by. 10 seconds to the next tap-off. Stand by.
And we're underway then here in Nottingham, the Riverside Sports Complex in the heart of Nottingham City Centre. 2019 Nationals, Seniors and Masters. Now, the North East Raiders taking on the South East Sharks from the women's 35 side of the competition this weekend. And we're set for another fascinating matchup. Plenty of names that you might recognise from both of these teams. Now the Sharks looking to try and get off to the perfect start. It looks like they have as well. So the likes of Rebecca Maxwell, Lois Lau. All in this women's 35 side for the South East Sharks. If you were following our Belief Elite National Touch Series coverage earlier on in the year. Just stretching for that pass on the edge of the 5 metre. It's North East Raiders side. So representation from of Percy Park and Chester Cheetahs, amongst others, forming this North East Raiders side. It's always a really interesting dynamic when all these players from different clubs come together for their regions, and now the Sharks have had their second in 2 minutes. What a start for them. Well, for a few of these players, it's coming to the end of what has been a really busy schedule. Started out with the World Cup in Malaysia, the Belief Elite National Touch Series, the DTS, the European Champs. And then, of course, we haven't got any of the juniors here this weekend, but they had the JTCs, the Junior Touch Champs in Paris in the middle of August. For players like Lois Lau, who have been performing in the World Cup, in the National Touch Series, the NTS, the European Champs, now here in the Nationals, it's been a busy old summer. But what a summer it's been as well. We've seen some brilliant touch rugby. And these are the moments and the games which could potentially earn you calls up to the England high performance camps as well. So a reminder then, in this women's 35s competition, we have the Midlands Tigers, South East Sharks, North East Raiders and the West Wildcats all taking part in this one. So the North East Raiders looking to try and get their first score of the game. It feels like it's important for them just to get a score, just to have something to build on, something to grab hold of, and they can really try and work for them. The Sharks full of momentum at the moment, a really nice flow and transition in their attacks at the moment. Nice little flicked pass over, but good defence from the Raiders, and they've really worked that well. But they've... well, it looked like the score's been given just in the nick of time. No, a touch was given. It looked like the defence worked really well. So the North East Raiders and the South East Sharks. Sharks at the moment 2 up inside the opening 8 minutes. Delighted to say, joining me in the commentary box, I have Steve Cleary with me. Steve, what a very good afternoon, and well, what a weekend it's set to be. And how's your start to the morning been? And this well, at the moment, the North East Raiders looking to try and get back into this one at the moment. Just being patient with their build-up. They've had a few errors early on, just maybe a lack of concentration, just trying to, there we go, but just clinging on there, but no, it's going to be turned over.
Yeah, they didn't set anything up on that, and then they isolated themselves on the 5th touch, so they're always going to struggle to do that. And you compare that to the Sharks now, subbing off, and this is what, second or third, and they're on the halfway line, but they're just going to push through here, and then they'll get at least one to attack on the line.
Really nice momentum in that attack.
They're running a sweep round there. This should give them over.
So the South East Sharks in control at the moment. Plenty of experience in this side. And from a North East Raiders point of view, Steve, how would you try and approach this? You've really had to soak up a lot of the pressure. How do you go about trying to get back into it?
Well, you've got to move them around. You've got to move the ball around. They're pretty bunched at the moment, and they've got to have a clear plan. This should be going here, because this is last, I think. It's not bad. But at least set something up there, but you're going to have to move them around. If you watch the efficiency of the driving from the Sharks so far, see how many touches it takes them to get to halfway. Having said that, they'll now butcher it, of course. No, they won't. They're going to be on halfway on third. They're going to have 3 in the other half to attack, if they look after the ball.
Yeah, just a turnover now for the North East Raiders. But quite right, Steve. There's just that momentum and that drive from the Sharks. It's a real asset to have, isn't it? If you can really get towards the halfway or even into the opposition's half in as least possible touches as possible.
Yeah, you've got to drive. You've got to be consistent, and you've got to be controlled. They actually, for the first time in this game, they weren't controlled there where they messed it up. But you can see there, the North East just gave the ball away for back chat, I think, which is just lethal, because now they're going to just run them. And watch the fluidity of the movement here as the players coming on will be sweeping round.
Well, lovely running towards the corner of the goal area. No one could stop it.
No, they've got to.
Let's have another look at the replay here.
We're going to VAR here, are we?
It looks like the touch, I think, has just come in the nick of time there. Yeah, it did. Really good defensive cover in the end.
So this short player's coming in. Dive or feed the wrapper. So this is last. They're going to do something interesting.
Just snatching at the ball. I think when he gets to that final touch, it obviously plays in your mind that you've got to use it. You've got no mistakes to give.
They're frenetic because it was fifth and they were trying it. But yeah, you can't put the ball down until you've caught it, which is what they're doing there. You're thinking too far ahead. Just catch the ball, then put it down. See this stuttering here, they're not going to get past halfway because they're not driving it up. They just drive it up. No one's running onto it. That's better. There you go.
Driven into the Sharks half, the Raiders, but at the moment being really stifled. And there we go, 6th touch and a turnover now for the Sharks. And is that just something that they can obviously work on as the weekend goes on, or is that something you should have been working on going into the tournament, into the weekend?
It's difficult to get going, but it's all momentum. You just need to drive, get the momentum. Don't panic. It doesn't need to be a million miles an hour. You just need to be moving forward. And it sounds silly, but yeah, they're not running any quicker. The Sharks, they're just moving forwards, and now they're setting themselves up. Well, they got one here. Yeah, last, so they're going for a scoop, going short side, which isn't going to work.
No, not on this occasion for the Sharks, but it's clear to see the differences in the styles and the attacking phase of the game. Sharks really try and put the pressure on the Raiders.
Yeah, that's good. Get up. Hold them there. But they are getting to the box. They've got to the box, but you need those runners coming off. So who's going to be the runner here? You can see the half there. Yeah, it's just slowed down again. She's half. She needs to find someone. That's better. Fluidity.
Yeah, a bit of improvement here for the Raiders as they've pushed on in towards the Sharks half, but just again, it's almost a bit stop-start, isn't it?
Well, you're dying on 5th touch. You've got nothing. You may as well have a go. You just need to dump for someone, and the last 2 or 3 they've just not dumped for anyone in the 5th.
Great yards every time the Sharks have got the opportunity. Trying to exploit through the middle, maybe try and work some gaps out wide when they're deep into the North East Raiders territory.
Sweep coming round now. They'll just set this up. And they've done them.
Oh, and again, just that final pass, that final take on the wing, just letting them down on this occasion for the South East Sharks.
Yeah, they set that up really nicely. They're around the sweep. They drag the people in. But, yeah, you've got to catch the ball before you can score.
Again, and this time
Well,
around,
this is going to be a score because she's going to tap that. And
the Sharks in possession, deep into Raiders territory.
so now they've got 6. They'll just move them around, move them side to side on the line, and then create the space. And they're taking the opportunity to sub off as well, so they're fresh.
Here's Lois Lau, buys a trade with London Eagles, also known as SSC London. Number 8 has possession of the ball now. Space potentially opening up on that right-hand side. Does the touch come in?
No.
Nope, it doesn't. And in the end, a good honesty though. I think it is a game of honesty in the end, isn't it, Steve? That people talk about touch rugby, and you've got to, say if you believe you got the touch.
Yeah. No, and yeah, a lot of the time you won't feel it if someone gets you. So you do have to. You have to say if you've got them, and equally you say if you don't.
Well, the North East Raiders, they've shown signs of trying to up the ante, increase the tempo, and try and force home a try for themselves. But again, it's a bit too stop-start, not enough pace and driving at the Sharks' defence.
So this is 5th.
And again, it just seems a little bit compact, this North East Raiders side. Is that something maybe they can try and work on, try and spread it out towards the wings and stretch this defence?
You need to have the, as I say that, you need to have the skill, and they drop the ball. You need to have the skill and the confidence to move it wide and catch it and roll it. But if you look there, we shouldn't be able to see at this angle. What, are they all in that half of the field? The North East, but then that's a turnover for some reason.
Up and over the halfway line they come, the South East Sharks, up towards the 10-metre mark. Just a bit of a stagnating point of play, but the Sharks looking to try and get up towards the goal line, and space opening up, and that was well worked in the end for the Sharks, and they had a 5th on the ball. That was clinical from the South East Sharks.
Yeah, they just 2 or 3 of them could have scored that. So there you go. They're 2 up in the touch, scoop, step outside. The links come in. That link can score. The wing can score. Pretty straightforward. Once you've got more than one person up in the touch, you're in a good position to do that.
Well, the South East Sharks in commanding form then this afternoon here against the North East Raiders. If they can just get a score now, the Raiders, it just has something to build on going into the start of the second 20. And we've often talked to players and coaches who've said that the period just before the break can be so crucial in terms of getting a score and maybe having a change of momentum or something to build on.
Yeah, I think that's going to have to be a hell of a change of momentum, but yeah, you're right. Well, looks like they've got 6 more, so this is a good chance, but they need to move them. So there's no half there. Move them out quickly, get the half there quickly, and you've got them on the run.
Oh, and again, turnover possession. It just not quick enough, just not sharp enough at the moment. The North East Raiders side have got themselves into that position, and they've almost just looked a little bit lost of what they were going to try and do.
And the Sharks, meanwhile, they're on touch 2. The Hooter's going to go very shortly. This will be quite interesting to see what they do on the last touch.
There it does go. Let's see if they can utilise this.
Pace.
Space opening up, takes the ball, and it gets over the line. So it is going to be a 6th before the break, and this time there was no mistake there for the South East Sharks. Well, what a first 20 minutes then for the Sharks over the North East Raiders, and lots of work to do if the Raiders are somehow going to get back into this one. We'll be back for the second half very shortly.
The boys are playing incredibly well. They're better than I've ever seen them play. We haven't used the full extent of our playbook, predominantly due to the weather conditions, but it's a slight shame. But they're doing their basics incredibly well, getting us down the park and getting us into a scoring situation almost every driving set. The thing for me is really the team cohesion. That winning these games, winning gold was never the goal for these boys. My goal for them was to get as many of the age-appropriate lads into the men's open training squad for 2020. And it's just fantastic to watch some of them really click, really start to play to their full potential. And I'm going to work very hard with the men's open coaches to make sure the boys that are of an appropriate age get a shot at the opens level.
It's been tough, but the result is exactly what we wanted. I'm incredibly proud. It was a really good campaign, and we've been very blessed with a very good cohesive team that has all worked together incredibly well, but couldn't have done anything without the assistant coaches of Keish and Catherine and Matt managing, and all the background help from the high performance team and Pippa. 13 debutants is probably a record for any junior touch team. I think I lost quite a few of the kids from last year, went up into 18s, managed to hang on to 3. The team just gelled straight away. We got working with lots of teamwork, and they just did brilliantly.
Bronze first year, and then we've had silver last year, and then we've done it. Finally got the gold. So I could not be more proud of such an amazing group and so much youth and talent in that team. We've got 3 14-year-olds winning mixed 18s. It's incredible. Like, the future for England Touch is, it starts here, and it's looking really, really bright.
Business as usual, I must say. I'm quoting Sammy Phillips, High Performance, who has just said that, we've been professional throughout the whole tournament. They have so much self-belief, and they absolutely love working for their team and putting on that England jersey.
Couldn't be happier. This has been a sensational weekend for England Touch. 4 gold medals. I think we've never achieved that before at JTC, and we're ecstatic. It shows that our high performance program is working, and the athletes we're starting to create are fantastic, and we're so proud of them. Absolutely incredible to be unbeaten at championships in every division. So hats off to our coaching team and to the athletes themselves for producing such an outstanding result.
So we're back underway here in Nottingham at the Riverside Sports Complex. The 2019 Nationals, Seniors and Masters. And as you can see by the scoreline on the top left-hand side, it is the Sharks who are in total control and get off to a fantastic start in the opening couple of seconds. And that is, well, definitely not what the Raiders would have needed.
No, they just didn't. That touch there doesn't count because that player never made it back on side.
It's sometimes difficult when you're up against the cosh, and then the Sharks then had the tap off in the second, and you almost, after that break, just trying to refocus, and then suddenly the Sharks are just up and at you. Is it difficult to sometimes refocus after a break?
Yes, yeah. It's just in general, you just need to be up for it, and they'll be running into the pods of different groups, so you might not have been on for a while, but it's difficult to. It is difficult to get up for it if you've been off for a while, and again, the ball's down there. Just that consistency isn't going to help them.
Yeah, just those crucial moments when they've got up to the other end of the field and really tried to put some pressure on the Sharks. They've just either fumbled a pass or maybe just not too sure what move they're trying to run.
Yeah.
And that has been the core difference at the moment with the Sharks every time. They just seem to have a plan every time they come forward.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. They're driving well, so they're getting in the right position. If this is fifth, this will be interesting. No, very difficult when the ball's died on fifth. But yeah, they're running either a sweep or they're just getting people up in the touch and running the scoop so far.
The North East Raiders, it's a bit better, trying to drive forward.
Better. That's much better. They're getting to the half, but it's lateral, not forwards. And that's off the mark.
Yeah, just very stop-start for the North East Raiders. They just seem to get into a position where they're going to drive on, and then they have to pause and they have to either go left or right. There's no real fluidity in their play at the moment, is there, Steve?
No, just that consistency. So you'll see here with 6 touches what they're going to do.
Just waiting for the fresh legs to come on from the subs box.
So they're going to run a short here with this player striking there, and the loop score. No score.
No score for the Sharks. But they're still going to get an opportunity on the 5 metre. Oh, lovely play. Patient build-up. It sometimes can be easy to sort of lose your concentration or panic when you're in those positions, but when you're in this position in the game and the experience they've got, it seemed just so simple.
Yeah, it's last touch as well, and you just need to go on your player, and they just managed to drag players away and find the winger for the score. There you go, that's good forward momentum. They're going to get to the line, they're going to have some touches to play with when they do that.
The communication error, just bumping into each other, but they've still got possession in the position they were in, and now they're just being forced back unnecessarily, really. It looks simple for the Sharks, really, to just sort of almost push them away.
If you're in the right position defensively, it does make it difficult for the attackers, and you force them to do things like that.
Some really key players in this South East Sharks side, likes of Lewis Lau, Rebecca Maxwell in this side. Here is Lewis Lau laying it off.
Yeah, so you've got Kylie Hutchinson in the visor there. She's got over 100 caps, so she knows what she's doing. That's the stability, and here you go, you see on the replay, setting up the runner, drags the opposite mid in, that creates the space.
And I know as a coach, when we've had the coaches in, they've always said that being exploited through the middle is just really frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, you're just getting sucked in. If you're running a shut defence, you need to recognise that you've been beating them and shut it down.
Credit to this North East Raiders side. They still going, still trying to create opportunities, but again, it feels so stagnated at the moment.
Yeah, they're trying one up touch. This is going to be very difficult to score against such an experienced team.
It's really biding their time, aren't they, this North Raiders team? But there we go, turnover in play. But it's important in these competitions that they're long tournaments, and you don't want to sort of get yourselves too down and lose too much confidence over one result.
No, and there is a range of teams playing. Yeah, this is a strong team, like we've discussed. Just looking down the list, there's a few players there who have played for England a lot. So that's always going to happen. There's other teams as well. Some teams are stronger than others. The London teams are traditionally pretty strong in this level and this age group.
And there we go, another score for the Sharks. They look really easy.
That's just attacking the outside shoulder there. She's just, the wing has stayed out, but she's just gone round the outside.
Well, of course, this North East Raiders side, lots of new time players looking to try and develop the side. Elizabeth Flynn is one of the people in this side really trying to develop touch rugby in the North East, and it's going to be a gradual process for them.
Yeah, they've just stepped over the mark there. And the other thing is, when you're getting tired, so the Sharks are pushing them around the field, and when you start to get tired, your skills drop off. You just got to be more consistent. And it's very difficult when you're really coming under pressure, and then you don't give yourself any chance to attack. You're just back on defence again. Here comes a sweep round. Long ball right. Still long ball right. Any minute now.
They were hearing a call, Steve. They were waiting and waiting, and they had to be patient.
Well, it's on here. If you stop it here, that's on there. But that's good. Second phase. Scoop. They're both offside. So that's fine. And it's good signalling from the wing.
So the South East Sharks in complete control in this second half. And for North East Raiders, it's just about trying to develop and try and use their time now to maybe even try new things if they can.
And now they're sending shooters. So watch there, they're shooting 3 up now. And then the next 3 come up now. So they're really putting pressure on them. Okay, they've stopped doing that, as I said it, obviously. I think that's Leslie McCallion just trying to organise them. But again, they run out of touches because of the early pressure on the shooters from the South East Sharks. They just don't give them enough time.
Yeah, it's really good high intensity defensive pressure from this South East Sharks side. It's something that they really work on at the likes of CSSC London, Hot Custard. You see in the NTS series. It's a real hallmark of a lot of those sides down in the south. Good pressure on their defence as well as in attack.
No touch. They're gonna. So I think this is 5th. They should have them manned up now. You're gonna have to do something special to score.
And
Which
they
they're able to do. Yeah.
Superb play from the South East Sharks. Again, almost just carving through them.
Yeah, you should be on your opposite number on fifth, and they just managed to get outside them. And as soon as you get outside someone, then there's going to always be holes. That's a good bit of go forward. This is solid driving. That's all you need to do. Just drive it down there. Now they're setting something up.
It looks like it's going to be given, is it, for the North East Raiders? Just waiting for that confirmation, is it? No, it's not going to.
No, it was, they set it up. They didn't really move them. Need to move them a little bit sideways. Just moving them back. They just need to hit the line and come forwards again.
Almost like Olympic sprinters straight off the starting blocks on their own defensive line when the Raiders were back on possession. And look how quickly they transition into the opposition half. No messing about from this South East Sharks side.
Be straight through and score.
Lovely take, beautiful play, beautiful movement from inside their own half from one end to the other.
So again, there's a feed there, so she's not half. Everyone's up. There's the gap. Drags that wing in. Space is always there. And that's just from the drive. That's just, as you said, driving forwards, creating the gaps.
Yeah, really, really nice play from South East Sharks, and they are just adding to this comprehensive scoreline that they've already built for themselves.
And they appear to have got a penalty for some reason. Maybe didn't, maybe they took too long getting back or something, getting onto the defender.
Well, a chance here for the North East Raiders in this final 8 minutes of the second half. They'll try and use all those 8 minutes to maybe try and get themselves at least a score, or try and just give themselves a bit of confidence going into the next couple of games. Let's see if they can do that.
So now they're running the sweep round. Oh, you've got to give the ball. They're just trying to move them. They've still got touches, so this is last.
On again, loss of control, and it's also just been a couple of mistakes that have hindered the North East Raiders when they've got up to the other end of the half.
That's good pressure. Try and hold them there. You only need one or two people to step up to hold them back.
Fresh faces, fresh legs come off the subs box for the South East Sharks, and again, really putting the pressure on the Raiders' defence.
Scoop on this one, because this will be fifth if they don't score, which they have.
Well, there we go, a lovely mazy run through the middle by the number 10 Wilkinson for the Sharks. A brilliant run from right to left through the middle, and as easy as that, they are 14 up to the good.
This is good, going forwards, moving them sideways as well, threatening them on the outside. This is last.
And again, it's those crucial moments, laying them down. And the Sharks just taking their time over restarting. They've built a big lead, and so under no real pressure. But again, every time they're coming forward, good momentum and flow to every attack.
Sweep round that side. I caught the half. Yeah, good play, good defence.
Well worked this time around from the North East Raiders. Goal coming into the final 5 minutes then, and again the Raiders just losing the momentum at the key points. Still have the opportunity though. Just a reminder that in this women's 35s, it's Midland Tigers, South East Sharks, North East Raiders and the West Wildcats all in this one. Trying to spread it out to the left-hand side, but again, the Sharks defence just covering well and spreading.
They've got a penalty there though, not getting back on the, I think that was the winger who was offside. So they've got 6 touches on the line.
Slow build-up from the North East Raiders, just really trying to almost build an attack with some pace and really try and get at this Sharks defence under any sort of pressure, just clinging on.
Yeah, they're just losing the half. You would say find the half. If you're not going to score, you've got to get the ball down and off the ground really quickly. If you watch now how long the ball's on the ground when they drive. See there, Kylie's just coming and found the half. Go forward, dump for someone. Straight off the deck, someone running on.
Oh, brilliant turn of pace. What a fantastic run. Is she going to be caught though, Lois Lau? I don't think she is. No, she isn't. What a brilliant individual run that was from Lois Lau. Just saw the space and wasn't going to be stopped. And a brilliant individual run that was from the mate for the South East Sharks, Lois Lau.
See there, where's the half? They can find the half here. They can get, oh. See, it doesn't have to be a million miles an hour. You just need to go forward.
Just a nice flow to the attack again for the South East Sharks, using the sub move well and getting fresh legs on. It's important.
To scoop. This is last. This is last. Oh, they're gonna got out of jail there. Really, they didn't get as far down the field as they have been, but they've got 6 more, so they'll try and move them around and then strike.
Well, looking to dive for the line. It almost went down in stages towards the line. Touch does come in though. I've seen it a couple of times where the players have really tried to dive in early, use the surface of the pitch to their advantage. Going into the final minute.
Sweep round. Yeah.
Really easy for the South East Sharks again.
As soon as that mid there bites, then you've got outside them.
Almost just trying to suck them in, and South East Sharks, well, what a performance it's been against obviously a relatively very inexperienced and new North East Raiders side. A lot of players who are just getting into the world of touch rugby. They'll have time to develop, they'll improve, I'm sure, but this South East Sharks side have been clinical and ruthless throughout this game. And there is the touch, and there is full time. Well, a result for the South East Sharks by 16 points to 0 over the North East Raiders. A comprehensive win then for the South East Sharks. And we'll now move on to our next game here in Nottingham in the 2019 National Seniors and Masters, and it will come from the men's 45. We'll see the Northwest Blades taking on the Midlands Tigers. That'll be coming up next.
I got into touch because my eldest son, Clark Hobson, he was really into it, raved about it, and he achieved England standard. I thought, well, I could maybe do that. So I got into it through Nottingham Touch Club 3 or 4 years ago. Following my wife and both my daughters into it, after they'd been to a taster session there, they encouraged me to join them and enjoy playing touch.
I love playing touch because it's a game where you can play 14-year-olds and 60-year-olds together. You can play men and women, so you could have a daughter and a mum playing together, and it's a really good fun to play.
The boys are playing incredibly well. They're better than I've ever seen them play. We haven't used the full extent of our playbook, predominantly due to the weather conditions, but it's a slight shame. But they're doing their basics incredibly well, getting us down the park and getting us into a scoring situation almost every driving set. The thing for me is really the team cohesion. That winning these games, winning gold was never the goal for these boys. My goal for them was to get as many of the age-appropriate lads into the men's open training squad for 2020. And it's just fantastic to watch some of them really click, really start to play to their full potential. And I'm going to work very hard with the men's open coaches to make sure the boys that are of an appropriate age get a shot at the opens level.
It's been tough, but the result is exactly what we wanted. I'm incredibly proud. It was a really good campaign, and we've been very blessed with a very good cohesive team that has all worked together incredibly well, but couldn't have done anything without the assistant coaches of Keish and Catherine and Matt managing, and all the background help from the high performance team and Pippa. 13 debutants is probably a record for any junior touch team. I think I lost quite a few of the kids from last year, went up into 18s, managed to hang on to 3. The team just gelled straight away. We got working with lots of teamwork, and they just did brilliantly.
So we're back underway then here in Nottingham, the Riverside Sports Complex, the 2019 Nationals Seniors and Masters. And next up we come from the men's 45s competition as we see the Midlands Tigers taking on the Northwest Blades. You're joined by myself, Brad Hope, and next to me is Mel Day. Mel, how are you doing?
I'm doing really, really good, and I'm stoked to be in the commentary box for the men's 45s, one of my favourite age groups. They've been around the block a few times.
Plenty of experience amongst these two sides, and it's always interesting to see how they utilise that experience as well. And our first look at the men's 45s for the day as well. Northwest Blades looking to try and get the first score of the afternoon.
And some good players in the Northwest Blades. Jeff Bimson, the number 6, is a player to watch. Coming from up north in Wigan, the home of butter pies. And you can see the Midland Tigers driving towards the box, so a good start from both teams.
Yeah, just to get some fresh faces on, of course, and it's important over the weekend. It's to keep that rotation, isn't it? Keeping it fresh.
Yeah, it's pretty hot out there today, actually. We just played now, and you got to keep your fluids up, got to get lots of snacks in. Salty nuts are a really good choice for a snack to keep the hydration levels really strong. So that's the snack of choice for the women's 35s anyway.
It was pretty chilly this morning, but it's the temperature's just risen. It's a beautiful day here in Nottingham. Blue skies aplenty. Getting fresh faces on. The Northwest Blades looking to try and attack over the halfway line they come.
And with the weather today, you'll see both teams, normally when they're driving, they will drive towards their box a lot. The women's 35s, we double shifted a lot, but we're pretty fit young women, so we can normally double shift. But yeah, a lot of the teams will be driving towards their sub box and trying to get some good plays out of their box going up the field. But yeah, it's an absolute scorcher and a lot to play for in the 45s division. They're not only playing for the national title, but also selection to the England squad, so really competitive out there today. A few good lookers in the 45s, actually, now that I'm up close on the monitor. A few silver foxes, a few, not so silver foxes.
Yeah, mixture of, across the board, on both sides. And involved actually in the men's 45, you've got the Midlands Tigers, South East Sharks, North East Raiders, West Wildcats, and then the Northwest Blades. There are the teams involved in the men's 45 section.
And you can see the Tigers driving up towards the middle. See the link taking the dump. You can see the Northwest Blades have their links making a lot of the touches, and you'll see a lot of teams that they'll rely on their links to make a lot of touches, try and reduce the workload on the mids because it is a hot day and the mids always work overtime. I'm a link, so I don't mind watching the mids work hard for their money. So.
When it's scorching hot as well, just watching them. It's a tough. It can be a tough challenge playing in the mids positions.
Have you enjoyed the commentary box so far today?
It's been brilliant. There's been some fantastic games so far to start off the weekend.
And who was your player of the match in the last game, that women's 45s?
Oh, well, I'm always a big fan of Lewis Lau, I think, from the CSSC side. Fantastic player.
And you can see a voluntary roll ball there. So Tigers have got the penalty there. Voluntary roll ball. The Northwest Blades player dumped the ball before he was touched. Sometimes the defence can play a little bit tricky with their touches and pull back a little bit and get the opposition to initiate a roll ball without getting touched. So they milked a penalty there. And another penalty, so 6 again. They'll come up to halfway, so this is a really good chance for opening score for the Tigers.
Yeah, good early work from the Northwest Blades, trying to push up on the Midlands Tigers, but again, look at this quick, high intensity drive through the middle.
Oh, great hands here. Pretty suspect pass from the number 1 from the Tigers, but the link caught Trevor Allen's pass. Good hands. Hands can get a bit sweaty on a day like today as well. Not so good for touch, good for other things, but touch can make it a bit tricky.
Yeah, especially this morning. It was we had the early morning dew on the grass as well, which can sometimes make it really tricky. But,
and here go the Northwest Blades. That stunk going from half. I always find his surname number 4 unpronounceable, so I call him Doug Macarena. I think it's Mascarenas.
Mascarenas.
Great little player, big figure in touch as well. And the Northwest Blades, they've got strong touch teams from up north. They've obviously Rugby League Heartland up there, and the Northwest Blades, their men's open made the final of the Opens National, so I'm sure the 45s will be hoping to make the final this weekend and show all their sons that they can play touch as well.
Yeah, likes of Crewe and Natwich, Manchester Chargers, Wigan, of course, all represented in the Northwest Blades region. In the Midlands Tigers, Nottingham and Peterborough, St Albans, Norwich, plenty of others as well. And the Midlands Tigers, here we go.
Score.
Well, as we were reading out the names and rattling through the sides, it's the Midlands Tigers who got the first score of the first half.
Replay, scoop through, support players come through in support and got the ball down there. Great opening score.
Absolutely, for the Midlands Tigers.
And some good plays to watch in the Midlands Tigers. Stefan Guda, number 13, also known as Colonel Clink in the touch community, but he's played in London a lot and done a lot of work in touch in St Albans, so he's a player to watch. I think that's him playing mid at the moment, just making that touch now. Always give the Colonel a shout out. Oh, here's Northwest Blades. Oh, that's unlucky.
It's good, good defence on the edge of the goal line. Midlands Tigers been trying to be compact and space opening up though on this near side. And it looks like it's going to be an instant response. It is an instant response for the Northwest Blades.
And you can see the Tigers were caught napping a little bit in D there. Great step back from the wing. The wing defender was staying on his man, but that was actually the Link who scored then. Stepped back and scored on his inside.
Oh, the Blades just carved through that Midlands Tigers defence. And it's one apiece inside the opening 8 minutes then of this first half, in a really intriguing matchup between these two sides. Could be in for a really close encounter.
Tigers going out to their wing. I think the touch has been made out there. And it's great with the England touch setup this year. We've obviously got NTS for all the elite players, and no offence to the men's 45s, but possibly players a little bit younger. But we also have the development touch series, so you'll see players from a lot of different age groups, not only the 45s, but a lot of young kids coming through. So there's lots of different playing tournaments that people can get involved in. So the standard of touch has just gone from strength to strength. And yeah, I heard they might even be introducing a men's 50s coming up. So really you can keep on playing until you're really long in the tooth.
Yeah, there's plenty of age categories represented. That is the beauty of such rugby. Almost.
I think that's the first time I've ever used the phrase long in the tooth as well. Trying to keep it clean for the internet. Here they go, Midland Tigers driving up their box again, sending it to the middle. Link in the wing chasing out, and I think he's got around him. Tell you what, he's a speedy character, this one.
He certainly was. He just almost like a road runner, just down that left-hand side. The afterburners came on. And there was no one stopping him as soon as he collected that ball on that left-hand side. And, well, what a score for the Midlands Tigers. And approaching the 10-minute mark, they lead by 2 points to 1.
Great speed. That speed wouldn't look,
Yeah, it wouldn't look a hard place in a men's opens.
Men's opens, exactly.
Side.
Might get the call up next year.
Absolutely.
Ben Powell's watching.
Ball's flinged out towards his left-hand side.
Bit of a speculator sent out and intercepted by the Midland Tigers. A little bit. You've got to be a little bit careful with throwing those big passes from out wide. Subs a bit slow coming on. We've got our speedster Roadrunner.
He's just coming to the middle now for the Midlands Tigers.
This is Stefan Guda, the Colonel, taking the dump there, number 13. He'll get the ball again coming to mid, but they've lost the ball. A little bit of poor ball handling there.
Opportunity goes a-begging for the Tigers, but the Blades looking to try and push on now.
And I've got to say, the fields in Nottingham this weekend are absolutely sterling. Still not attractive enough for me to dive yet, but give me another couple of games.
We've seen a few early dives this morning. They've...
No, they're beautiful facilities up here, and obviously we'll have Euros up in Nottingham next year. And this is probably why Nottingham is the home of Euros for the last few years. Just great facilities, great weather. Oh, unfortunately, I think that was Dunk. Macarena going for the dive there. Unlucky, and Midland Tigers will be driving towards their box. You can see the players getting a little bit tired now. Pace is coming off the game a little bit. Only 11 minutes in. It's the longest half in history, isn't it, this one?
It feels like it's been, it's gone on forever, this first half. But it's been really interesting to watch both sides, and I'm not surprised that both teams are sort of feeling the burn in this opening half. Good pace through the middle, looking to try and spread the ball out to the left-hand side and going in for the dive. It was a bit far behind on that one.
And obviously with a lot of these players trying to qualify for age groups at Euros, there'll be eligibility checks, passports, ages checks, and I think they better do some age checks on the men's 45s, because there are some good sorts out there that I'm actually quite surprised they're 45. Do you agree in terms of the aesthetics of the men's 45s team?
I was about to say, you're looking down at the ages and you wonder whether, are they really? That's as old as 62.
Robert Byrne from O2 Oral Club, 62 years old, playing an absolutely cracking game of touch. From the Midland Tigers, we've got 61 years old, John Kearsley.
Yeah, so it's amazing. The fitness levels obviously absolutely incredible, and I'm guessing that's something that's really sort of improved over the years, the fitness and the muscle training and the body training, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. They always say that touch is a sport for both genders, all age groups. I should say all genders now, but all genders, all age groups. And tournaments like this really demonstrate that. Like when you got guys who are 61 years of age playing cracking games of touch at such speed, it's pretty incredible to see. I know when my dad was 61, he could only be found on a beer stool. And number one going in for the score for the Tigers.
Yeah, Neil DeCourt's going over the line that time.
Great, just through the hands here. They got the mismatch straight through.
No mistake from Neil DeCourt, and all of a sudden, 2 points advantage just opening up now for the Midlands Tigers.
Bit of a surprise here, like looking down the team sheets, I would have said that Northwest Blades would have been the favourites here, but Tigers look pretty strong.
Yeah, they look really organised, and they have that, as we've seen in the first opening 30 minutes, that just sudden turn of pace, which almost just comes out of nowhere. Brilliant take, and I think it's a good finish as well, is it? I'd say it certainly is.
Number 10, Graham Moy. As you can see, just a ball straight out from the number 3 here to the winger, Graham. Ball straight down.
Brilliant take and good finish. And it's back to 3-2 now in favour of the Midlands Tigers.
It's always tricky with these scores because a lot of people will be watching a game of touch and just questioning why players just don't stay on their respective players. But normally we stay really tight in D because we, force the opposition to send that long ball, and we've got to stay tight to try and pressure the attack. And unfortunately, it does expose you to that long ball. And it was a great pass out to the winger there. Great hands as well. 2-3, Tigers up by 1. You can see them taking their time, pulling the defence off their line.
Yeah, just being patient, and then maybe just that turn of pace that they have. Well, they turned over now for the Northwest Blades, and they'll get the opportunity to see if they can get back to parity. Getting over towards their subs box, fresh faces on. That's something that we'll definitely see as the game goes on, as the weekend goes on. Keep the legs fresh.
Yeah, a little pass over the top. A little bit of a messy drive there from the Blades. They lost a little bit of their depth, but through their hands they've been able to make up the yards. This is 5th touch now.
Going in for the line, and the 6th touch comes in. So Midlands Tigers defend well on this occasion.
And you'll see the Blades, both teams are usually making it up to the opposition 5 metres, so both teams have really got to suck it up and just try and keep the teams down here in defence. And I think that's 2nd touch now, so Tigers will be on halfway at the 3rd touch, so just a little bit more work to be done in D, and you know, pulling the players in tight, trying to shoot off the line, trying to stop some of these drives will be beneficial. So this is 5th touch now. Another good set from the Tigers. 3.5 minutes to go. Let's see if the Blades can get one back.
Yeah, crucial parts of the game when it's just before the half-time break. It can see a change in momentum if the score can get back to level. And this is a lovely move from the Blades, just getting tripped up as he was flying forward.
Paul Nolan, number 16 there, he's got some legs on him as well.
Yeah, serious wheels on the number 16. Yeah, Paul Nolan for the Northwest Blades.
Okay, we've got a turnover there, but another good driving set from the Blades. If they can get it down to the 5 metres and keep the Tigers up here, they'll definitely have another couple of cracks at the line in this half. And they'll definitely want to try and score again before the half is up.
Let's see if they can restore that 2-point advantage. Just a bit of traffic on this near side.
Here's the Colonel directing play. Yeah, they're getting a little bit messy in their yards here. You can see just that lack of depth. They're struggling to really make yards, and only 10 metres into the opposition half. Bit of a disappointing driving set from the Tigers, so the Blades really have a good chance here. Touch 2 and they'll be over the halfway mark.
Space to run into, and they try to execute that lovely layoff. Good pace into the attack. Try and weave the way round, but the Midlands Tigers standing strong.
Fair enough too. There were some questionable hips on that attacking dump from the Blades player there. I think he was parallel to the line, but probably the dead ball line as opposed to the sideline. But good driving set from the Blades. And you can see them constantly attacking those mids, trying to tire out those mids who are the workhorses. So effective driving from the Blades, but here are the Tigers getting a run on. Do we look this fast when we're playing the women's 35s? Because I'm actually really impressed right now.
Well, all the games so far this morning have been, very high standard. They've, I think it's just the energy levels and the fitness levels of all across the board really has just improved so much. And again, there's our little road runner just going through. What a turn of pace he is. Well, I've always thought the Miles Partridge from Galaxy London was the whippet. I think he's going to match him.
Wow. A little bit of traffic, a little bit of a messy D, but it didn't look like there was... Or have they called it back for obstruction, possibly? So it looks like they've called that back for obstruction. So the Blades, this is going to be their last chance at the line. 30 seconds to score.
Yeah, let's see if they can get it in just before the hooter.
Just trying to get their players to realign once they've passed off, maintain their depth. And unfortunately, hand over there.
There is the hooter, so final phase. It's getting boxed in slightly. And there we go, half-time then between the Northwest Blades and the Midlands Tigers, and it is the Midlands Tigers who lead by 3 points to 2 in a fascinating game here in the men's 45 competition. Well, myself and Mel will be back for the second half in a couple of minutes' time.
boys are playing incredibly well. They're better than I've ever seen them play. We haven't used the full extent of our playbook, predominantly due to the weather conditions, but it's a slight shame. But they're doing their basics incredibly well, getting us down the park and getting us into a scoring situation almost every driving set. The thing for me is really the team cohesion. That winning these games, winning gold was never the goal for these boys. My goal for them was to get as many of the age-appropriate lads into the men's open training squad for 2020. And it's just fantastic to watch some of them really click, really start to play to their full potential. And I'm going to work very hard with the men's open coaches to make sure the boys that are of an appropriate age get a shot at the opens level.
It's been tough, but the result is exactly what we wanted. I'm incredibly proud. It was a really good campaign, and we've been very blessed with a very good cohesive team that has all worked together incredibly well, but couldn't have done anything without the assistant coaches of Keish and Catherine and Matt managing, and all the background help from the high performance team and Pippa. 13 debutants is probably a record for any junior touch team. I think I lost quite a few of the kids from last year, went up into 18s, managed to hang on to 3. The team just gelled straight away. We got working with lots of teamwork, and they just did brilliantly.
Bronze first year, and then we've had silver last year, and then we've done it. We've finally got the gold, so I could not be more proud of such an amazing group and so much youth and talent in that team. We've got 3 14-year-olds winning mixed 18s. It's incredible. Like, the future for England Touch is, it starts here, and it's looking really, really bright.
Business as usual, I must say. I'm quoting Sammy Phillips, High Performance, who has just said that, we've been professional throughout the whole tournament. They have so much self-belief, and they absolutely love working for their team and putting on that England jersey.
Couldn't be happier. This has been a sensational weekend for England Touch. 4 gold medals. I think we've never achieved that before at JTC, and we're ecstatic. It shows that our high performance programme is working, and the athletes we're starting to create are fantastic, and we're so proud of them. Absolutely incredible to be unbeaten at championships in every division. So hats off to our coaching team and to the athletes themselves for producing such an outstanding result.
Stand by.
So we're back underway then here in Nottingham, the 2019 National Seniors and Masters. And we see the Northwest Blades taking on the Midlands Tigers. And the first half was a really close affair. The Tigers just edging it by 3 points to 2 as we move into the second 20. And the Northwest Blades have the tap off, and it feels like it could be potentially important for the Northwest Blades to get off to a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe we're going to have a pun off this half, Brad. So I believe you're going to adopt the Tigers and do as many puns as you can. While
do you want to take on the Northwest Blades?
the Blades, not a very sharp pass there, unfortunately, that last one.
And we're off.
And we're off. I'll just comment in on their sharpness.
Well, the Midlands Tigers were purring after their first half and looking to try and...
Absolutely roaring down the sideline there. Claws are definitely out this second half, aren't they? Here they go, targeting those mids. And prediction for final score, Brad?
Oh, well, it's a really close one. The first half it felt like a really long first half, actually. But I think the Midlands Tigers might edge it. I think that pace that they've got on the wings, and it might just be the deciding factor as the Blades look to try and get towards halfway and get some fresh faces on, driving towards the 10-metre.
Yep, getting to the side of the defence here. Let's see if they can slice through them like butter, these Northwest Blades. There they are, rolling through the touches here. Great set, actually, by the Blades on that. Well, I'm going to bet my butter pie that it's going to be a draw come 40
A draw?
minutes. Yep. Putting it out there.
Well, I think, yeah, that'll be our first draw, certainly, of the day. It'll be quite a climax if it does.
They breed them quite fit up north, like in multiple ways. And I'm backing that they're going to have the legs to take it to the Tigers in particularly the last 10 minutes of this second half. So I think if they can be patient, keep the Tigers out, I think we've got a great little game on our hands.
Well, turnover in possession for the Northwest Blades.
Here they go, smooth as a butter knife. Watch this drive. Unfortunately, just over the mark there. Questionable roll ball, and the referees, great referees today, picked that up.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the hardest spots of the day for the referees. And turnover now on the Tigers.
And I've got to say today, there's a real mix of refereeing. A lot of referees starting out, junior referees, through to some level 5 black badges today. Some great coaching for the referees, and we've had 2 games so far today, and the standard of refereeing has been really, really good, especially from the junior refs, actually. So obviously they're all over it on this game as well, like a rash.
Yeah, we've had young Jack Harris, who was with us, actually. In Cambridge, who was speaking of him doing his refereeing, and
yeah,
he was
a good kid, that one.
He was really excited to sort of get going even further with his refereeing. So it'll be interesting to see how he progresses.
Yeah, he's a great little referee. I bought him a beer once when I didn't realise he was a junior referee, but it's okay. I'm very responsible, so I drank that one for him. And here go the Tigers, trying to get through this jungle of a Northwest defence. Northwest, great pre-touch from this mid here. That number 1 from the Northwest Blades, Tim Shields. Oh, a shield, Tim Shields. Great D. Definitely pressured the attack there and caused that turnover. I like giving some players a good shout out.
Yeah, really good work from Northwest Blades, and up at the other end.
Oh, here's
Quick as a flash.
Tim Shields again. Stayed on for a double shift. Now the Blades really have to try and stretch this Tigers defence, try and get those mids moving. I think they possibly should have gone the other side there. You can see the men's 35s warming up in the background from the Southeast Sharks, my region. Some good sorts in that team as well.
Now we're covering all the age categories here on pitch number 1. And at the moment, just a bit stop-start in this second half. No team has really got flowing.
No, Northwest have been a little bit blunt in their attack so far. But here go the Tigers. They do have some really quick plays in their team, don't they? And looks like we may have an injury here. It looked like a bit of a hard touch. It didn't look like there was a lot in that touch, and maybe it was just the attacker's positioning when he's taken that touch. So fingers crossed he's okay. Number 13, the Colonel, Stefan Guda.
Well, he's back to his feet. And like a true leader coming off the field and wanting to get back on us straight away if he can.
Okay, it's just a roll ball, so no hard touch penalty there. I think it might have just been the technique going into that roll ball. But here go the Tigers again. Mid's definitely being stretched on this Northwest team. But 6 touches kept him out. Being faced with a cutlery drawer of attacking moves, and the Northwest Blades strong indeed. I feel like my call for the game is quite good, actually.
Oh, it's looking very, very good. Worried. I know. Well, it depends. It might even stay like this with no scores so far. But my prediction of seeing a lot more pace from the Midlands Tigers hasn't come to fruition at the moment.
And they may be 45, but these guys are really strong in their touches. You can see some of these rucks are quite strong. Maybe running a little bit too laterally here, Northwest. They really need to let that ball do the work. As soon as you see some players run that laterally across the field, they can kind of take up the space of the players on the outside. Here go the Tigers again, driving towards their sub-box. Really need to protect the ball here and try and get down the other end.
Towards halfway, are they going to try and get a bit more direct through the middle?
They really got to earn their stripes here and justify their selection into the team. Try and get that score on the board.
Well, it wasn't predator-like instincts then for the Midlands Tigers. Turnover now for the Blades.
Okay, Blades just going to watch those passes from half, and those runners driving onto the ball just have to watch their timing, but it looks like they've got it sorted now over the halfway line. Oh. Unfortunate there for the Blades. They were setting up for a good attacking play.
Yeah, just need to sharpen up the Blades.
Have we had a scoreless half?
We have.
So
It's been one of those halves where neither side, when they get up to the other end over the 5 metre, they've just not been clinical enough at the moment.
And I feel like both sides are panicking a little bit once they get up to the opposition attacking line. So just running those plays that they've been practicing at training, those 32 plays, things like that, getting the defence moving, just seems a little bit bunched up and panicky at the moment. Need Lois Lau out there to direct a bit of attacking play.
At the moment, the Midlands Tigers in possession. It's slow at the moment, but patient. But can they even do anything with it at the moment?
Okay, number 9, Sol Phoenix with the ball. Solid player for the Midland Tigers. There he is again, good strike dump. Here's the number 3, running a short line, and boom.
There we go, Midlands Tigers. Well, the first score of this second half after 9.5 minutes. How crucial that potentially could be. They've opened up a 2-point gap.
And here we go, a short play, that number 3, great line. The defence were totally out of sorts. Tigers have just taken a massive chunk out of that defence. Definitely overcooked it. Okay. Now the Blades should not panic. 10 minutes is a lot of time in touch. And I always think as long as you're not down by, as many minutes there are in a game, then there's always a chance. Great dive there by the number 1 from the Blades, Tim Shields. I feel like he's my player of the match for the Blades so far.
He seems to be here, there and everywhere at the moment. Across the board. Oh, and diving in onto the line, and this time Northwest Blades have got one back, and they're clawing it back as well.
I think that was Jeff Bimson there. You can see getting the ball back, the number 6 live player. Straight in. Jeff Bimson, one of the stalwarts of the Northwest Blades team.
So after 9.5 minutes, in the space of 2, we have 2 scores. And we're back to sort of where we started, only a point in it.
I think Jeff Bimson might have a son who plays for the Blades Opens teams. I think he's the defensive coach for the men's open team as well, so nice bit of attack. Maybe they should recruit him for the attacking coach as well.
Midlands Tigers just sweeping out from left to right.
Northwest Blades set on the 5th touch. Really good defence there, and you can see when that 5th touch was coming, the Northwest Blades were all set. They weren't panicked at all, so not really threatened at all.
Yeah, come the fresh cavalry off the bench. Over halfway line they come. Good pace in this attack through the middle.
And you can see these 2 brothers, the number 4 and the number 19, the Macarena twins. They've been really solid in attack for the Blades, these 2. And as you can see, they've gone end to end, gotten it to the 5 metres, and this is where they've really got to dig deep in D and try and hold the Tigers down here. It's a bit hard to score if you only have your 5th touch just over the halfway line, so Blades have to dig deep. Okay.
It's good work from the Midlands Tigers, looking to try and restore that 2-point advantage.
And it looks like final touch here.
Not this time around for the Midlands Tigers. So turnover now for the Blades, deep inside their own half though.
Yep, coming off a penalty, so they'll want to drive hard here. A little bit slow on these drives. You can see they're just lacking that depth, and that's what happens when you get a little bit tired. You'll see the attack stays quite shallow. They're not running onto the ball. It makes getting those meters really hard. And I think they just lost the touch count there, which is unfortunate because they'd set that up for a really good last play, but 6 touch. And again, they just have to dig deep in D.
Again, having just to arc that run. The Midlands Tigers still only the 1 point in it. We're hunting for more. Not this time around. Still only the 1 point in it then between the Northwest Blades and the Midlands Tigers. In these type of games, Mel, is this where it just gets a bit sort of squeaky bum time?
Yeah, last 5 minutes, you've just got to dig deep. And as I said, you've just got to try and maintain your depth running onto this ball because it makes such a difference in your drives and your attacking plays. And you can just see it become just very static on the line. Errors are creeping in. They just need to take some deep breaths and try and get that depth and dig deep. 5 minutes to go. But I'm a sprightly 23-year-old, so
well, these guys out here are still showing signs that they've got plenty of energy in the tanks.
Yep, great first touch here by the Blades. They got their hand over and you could just see their energy levels increase and throwing the ball around. They're on the 5 metre line, sorry, on their second touch here. Peeling for a hard touch, but You won't be milking that penalty anytime soon. Bit of a self-complaint there. Here the Tigers have to walk up off their line. And unfortunately, he's gone from half, and I think that was only third or fourth touch, so...
Well, there we go. Deep inside their own half, Midlands Tigers just giving the ball away. That's criminal to do inside your own half.
It's tricky. This is when the oxygen deprivation, the choices that you make on the field, when the physical fatigue can start to impact everything that you do. But hopefully the Blades can keep their composure, only because I've got a butter pie riding on the result being 4-4 at the end of the game. Have you had a butter pie from Wigan before?
I don't think I have, actually. No, I've not ventured to the northwest for a while. Well, next time I'm up there, I'll have to give it a whirl.
Without any hyperbole, it's a life-changing experience. And you can see a scoop through there. They've tried to get the ball down. The referee has said the touch was before the loss of control, so 5th touch.
Oh, coming into the closing minutes, the Northwest Blades looking to try and get to all square.
Yeah, they will get another 1 or 2 cracks at the line, but they really want to... Okay, Tigers, if they can convert from this possession, they're going to be feeling pretty confident they're going to win this game.
Yeah, really good opportunity for the Midlands Tigers. Are they going to bring on the pace?
Yeah, there's been a couple of cheap turnovers on their line, so they're going to want to try and make yards on this possession here. Nice boots there. Look at those yellow boots.
I was going to say, flashy yellow boots, and onto the ball now. See if he can use them.
It's pretty fast too. You want to be fast with boots like that. Taking their time, winding down the clock, keeping the ball secure, the Tigers. And unfortunately gone outside the sideline there, so Northwest Blades, 2 minutes to go.
Time ticking down. The Midlands Tigers still leading by 4 points to 3.
Yeah, some of these players have pulled a couple of shifts on the field, so they're getting some fresh legs on. Here you can see some good driving into the line, Northwest. Being the rapper here. Hands might be on the left.
Space opening up as they got over the line. Waiting for the confirmation. The referee's going to give it.
Oh, what a score. 1 minute to go. Look, I'd like to say I called it early, largely because I did. 4-4. But we've still got a tap off to go. Tigers will be racing up to the halfway line. Well, meandering up to the halfway
Yeah, they don't seem in much of a hurry. It's 4 apiece. A minute to go. Do they even know the score? It's 4-4. Next score will win it, if there is going to be a next one.
Okay, they've got the Colonel Stefan back on the field.
Let's see if they can get towards the line. Can they have one more opportunity? The Midlands Tigers, just over 30 seconds remaining. The Blades just need to stay compact. Nice little shift to the left. Good defensive work, though.
Touch there. 5th touch.
Important, they have to use this. No second chances now. Ball's flinged out to the left-hand side. Being crowded out. And there goes the opportunity.
I've got to say, excellent performance by both teams. And this men's 45 division, some of the speed on some of these players, the passing, everything like that, absolutely exceptional. What a cracking game.
Well, it certainly has, and there's nothing to separate the two sides. What a brilliant game between the Northwest Blades and the Midlands Tigers. It finishes 4 apiece, with the Northwest Blades getting a score with a minute to go in the second half. Well, what a brilliant game. Both sides giving it absolutely everything. Well, Mel, thank you very much for joining us.
No worries. Unfortunately, no winners on the field being a draw, but a winner in the commentary box with accurate prediction of the game.
Well, our
So-
first winner in the predictions today. And,
When should I expect that butter pie?
and we'll now move on to our next game of the day, which will come in a couple of moments' time here in Nottingham for the 2019 Nationals Seniors and Masters.
I got into touch because my eldest son, Clark Hobson, he was really into it, raved about it, and he achieved England standard and thought, well, I could maybe do that. So I got into it through Nottingham Touch Club 3 or 4 years ago, following my wife and both my daughters into it. After they'd been to a taster session there, they encouraged me to join them and enjoy playing touch.
I love playing touch because it's a game where you can play 14-year-olds and 60-year-olds together. You can play men and women, so you could have a daughter and a mum playing together, and it's a really good fun to play.
So back underway then here in Nottingham, the 2019 Nationals Seniors and Masters here at the Riverside Sports Complex. And we move on to the men's 35 competition. As we see the South East Sharks taking on the South East Taipans. We saw the South East Taipans against their counterparts actually in the men's 40s, the South East Taipans. Earlier on in the day, it was a comfortable win in the end for the men's 35s Taipans side. But our first look at the South East Sharks from the men's 35s. And then the 35 category includes the Midlands Tigers, the West Wildcats, and of course the South East Taipans alongside the South East Sharks. So the likes of Andy Pennisard in the CSSC side, John Irwin, Alexander Hunter, all from CSSC. Plenty of international experience as well, as the Sharks look to get off to the perfect start, and they certainly have done. They lead by 1 point to 0 in the opening 2 minutes. But plenty of international experience in this side for the Sharks. Douglas Benzie, England men's 35s. Alex Berger, England men's 40s. Stuart Block, men's 35s. The list just goes on and on. Same again also in the South East Taipans side, as they look to try and respond straight away, and they certainly have done. One apiece after the opening 2 minutes. Oh, we saw a really close game just previously there in the men's 45s. North West Blades and the Midlands Tigers. Are we going to see a high scoring affair in this one? And players that might know each other as well on the way. David Fife, who currently plays for the South East Taipans, number 6. He was playing for the Sharks, men's 35s last year at the Nationals. And it was his first time actually playing in the Nationals, David Fife, and then he made his move to the Taipans. So one apiece then between these two sides. Lovely fizzed ball out, moving it from right to left. Quite slow build up though, a bit stagnant, just trying and drive forward. Now they just needed that initial burst into the Sharks half. Oh, a ball spread out to this near side, just couldn't be picked up. It bounced nicely, but of course weren't allowed to continue from that pass. Could be a feature for both of these sides, just trying to drive through the middle and then trying to open up the space. On the wings as the Sharks look to try and come forward again. Really nice flow, momentum building, but stopped in their tracks by the Taipans. Nice move here from the South East Taipans. They've really shifted it well from right to left and getting over towards that far side now, back into the middle. Just a loose pass as it just dies in front of Adrian Fiat, currently playing his trade at Warwick. Been a part of the Nationals setup for some time now, Adrian Fiat. So no stranger to this competition. The number 2 for South East Taipans. Good turn of pace, needs the support as the half. Oh, what a lovely no-look pass that was. That was so skillful, so silky. Well, brilliant work from the Sharks, and they lead by 2 points to 1. South East Taipans now looking to try and respond. Oh, an interception. And now yards to run into. Opsig weave himself left and right, give himself options, lays it off. And the Sharks are going to advance into a 3-1 lead. Just as the Taipans were looking to bite back. Razor sharp from the South East Sharks. Good turn of pace from the Sharks, crossing over the halfway line. Space to run into, actually, just leaving it open, the South East Taipans at the moment. Here's Giuani, number 4 for Galaxy London. He's a very talented player. Giuani currently plying his trade at Galaxy London, England's men's 35s player. Really good knowledge of the game, good understanding and reading of the play as well. Lovely quick hands from the Taipans, moving it swiftly and cleanly from left to right. Oh, a lovely pass, so almost like just an overhead netball pass. Just running into a bit of traffic though. Good pressure from the South East Sharks, just putting it up highly on them. Trying to arc the run, trying to find an angle through. That's the 6th touch, so turnover. So the Sharks really did well actually, from some good quick sharp passing from the South East Taipans. Here is Giuani now. Moving on forward. Trying to whip the ball out to the left-hand side, and it was the on-running Matt Allpress just creeping into your picture, but just couldn't get there in the nick of time. South East Sharks doing well to go over towards the halfway mark. Getting up towards halfway, South East Taipans feel like they need the next score just to get themselves back into this game, although still plenty of time left, half an hour in total. Just losing concentration when the ball came to him. South East Sharks looking to try and break through again, but this South East Taipans side, since they conceded that breakaway score, have tightened up a tad and just tried to be a bit more compact. South East Sharks just biding their time a little, waiting for the perfect opportunity to pounce on a lovely movement with the feet, just trying to jink around, but a equally really good touch. Just on the line. We'll lay off and a spin round and maybe some space opening up, but brilliant defensive work from the South East Taipans. Ever since that breakaway try for the Sharks, they've really let nothing past them in the last 5 minutes. Really nice build-up from the South East Taipans this time around, but again, just at the crucial moments, both sides are just can't seem to break each other down. I don't know if it's a mixture of errors, but good defensive work as well. Both sides are really putting in the hard yards at the moment. Really good movement again. Bit of a better flow to this attack from the South East Sharks. Onto the final touch. Can they break through? Looking for support. Gets the support. Is it down? Yeah, it isn't. It doesn't count. Sharks still in possession though, going into the final 5 minutes of the first half. It's really good, quick, sharp passing from the South East Sharks, but they can't really do much with it at the moment. They've really been stifled by the South East Taipans defence, who've been sharp off the line and closing down at every opportunity, looking trying to spread the ball out to the right hand side. So just over 3 minutes then remaining till the break. Corner, real mix-up. The ball just almost runs loose into the air. It was anyone's to grab. The referee's just having a quick word now. And a loss of control. So the Sharks now with a fresh set of 6. Halfway inside the Shark, in Taipans half, I should say. Really good opportunity to head for. Here's Ruiz Durrani. Durrani just laying it off. Space potentially to open up. Really good defensive work. And a turnover for the Taipans. Brilliant defensively again from the South East Taipans. Feels like we haven't had a score in a lifetime here in this first half. Nice footwork, trying to jink past Durrani, but Durrani stifles that attack out. And even though the Sharks feel like they've had a large amount of possession in the last 5 or so minutes, they've really not been able to do much with it. Taipans defence have been really, really solid, but they just need to sharpen up when they go forward. But here come the Sharks. Sense of purpose in this drive. Here come the Taipans then. Are they going to get one just before the break? How crucial this potentially could be in their bid to try and level the scores up or even go ahead. Ball goes out wide, can't grab it. It was a hard one to take above the head. Just fell out the fingertips. And the ball's been turned over into the final minute then of this first half. Sharks pressing forward. Looking like they're going to try and add a fourth. Have they done that? No, brilliant defence again from the South East Taipans, just when they needed it most as well, with seconds to go inside this first half. Are they just going to see the clock out? Waiting for the hooter. The hooter does go. Touch comes in, and that is half-time between the South East Taipans and the South East Sharks. And what was a rip-roaring opening couple of minutes, just sort of stagnated as both sides cancelled each other out. But it is the Sharks who lead by 3 points to 1 going into the break.
The boys are playing incredibly well. They're better than I've ever seen them play. We haven't used the full extent of our playbook, predominantly due to the weather conditions, which is a slight shame. But they're doing their basics incredibly well, getting us down the park and getting us into a scoring situation almost every driving step. The thing for me is really the team cohesion. That winning these games, winning gold was never the goal for these boys. My goal for them was to get as many of the age-appropriate lads into the men's open training squad for 2020, and it's just fantastic to watch some of them really click, really start to play to their full potential. And I'm going to work very hard with the men's open coaches to make sure the boys that are of an appropriate age get a shot at the Opens level.
It's been tough, but the result is exactly what we wanted. I'm incredibly proud. It was a really good campaign, and we've been very blessed with a very good cohesive team that has all worked together incredibly well, but couldn't have done anything without the assistant coaches of Keish and Catherine and Matt managing, and all the background help from the high performance team and Pippa. 13 debutants is probably a record for any junior touch team. I think I lost quite a few of the kids from last year, went up into 18s, managed to hang on to 3. The team just gelled straight away. We got working with lots of teamwork, and they just did brilliantly.
Bronze first year, and then we've had silver last year, and then we've done it. We've finally got the gold. So I could not be more proud of such an amazing group and so much youth and talent in that team. We've got 3 14-year-olds winning mixed 18s. It's incredible. Like, the future for England Touch is, it starts here, and it's looking really, really bright.
Business as usual, I must say. I'm quoting Sammy Phillips, High Performance, who has just said that, we've been professional throughout the whole tournament. They have so much self-belief, and they absolutely love working for their team and putting on that England jersey.
Couldn't be happier. This has been a sensational weekend for England Touch. 4 gold medals. I think we've never achieved that before at JTC, and we're ecstatic. It shows that our high performance programme is working, and the athletes we're starting to create are fantastic, and we're so proud of them. Absolutely incredible to be unbeaten at championships in every division. So hats off to our coaching team and to the athletes themselves for producing such an outstanding result.
Seconds, please get your pictures ready to wait. Players and officials stand by.
So back underway then here in Nottingham, the South East Taipans and the South East Sharks and the men's 35 age group. The first half was almost a tale of 10 minutes. The first 10 we saw all 4 scores. And saw the Sharks burst into a 3-1 lead, and then in the second 10 it was really the South East Taipans defence shutting up shop and being really composed and compact at the back, disciplined as well. And they just need to carry on this going into the second, and they have got a touch, it looks like. Yep, just on the line. So the Taipans starting off well, but still need to soak up this early pressure. Just a pause in play at the moment. I think there was a short pause just for an injury, but we're back underway now. Just trying to throw the ball deep and maybe give them some space to really run into, and we're trying to lay the ball off and find Justin Conway, the number 10 there for the Sharks, but just a breakdown in communications then. Taipans getting up towards the halfway mark. Lovely quick hands from the Taipans and a really good movement away. 5th touch though, so got to make this next one count. No second chances. Touch is claimed, so turnover now for the Sharks. And Ruiz Girani finishing it off as well. Almost felt like the Taipans had sort of lost their positioning just for a second. And the Taipans looking to try and bounce back. They desperately need the next score if they're going to try and get back into this game. There's still time, there's still an opportunity. They have defended really well for 3/4 of the game so far, but attacking wise just haven't had that edge that we saw this morning against the South East Taipans men's 40 side. Nice little layoff, and the Sharks have really got that bit between their teeth now. All floated into the middle. And run on to in pace. But turnover again, and it's just been the story so far for the South East Taipans. Every time they've come forward defensively, have been really sharp. Girani coming forward. Balls just seem to run loose, but the play's still going to continue as it's flung out to the wings, but no one was there. Girani just apologising. Just looked like the ball had just lost control, but the referee deemed not so. Being really forced back. The South East Taipans really having to work hard now to try and get up towards the halfway, shifting the ball from left to right and driving over that halfway line into an attacking position. Again, a turnover, neither side really attacking cleanly. They're always forcing an error. Well, it was a lovely speed to that attack, but it's come to nothing in the end. Over halfway line they come. Moving on up over the 10-metre, flinging the ball out left. Really good fizz on that pass. Done it well so far. Not conceded any more points. Well, a mazy run from the South East Taipans, but it comes to nothing in the end. Oh, a lovely little run inside, and it looks like, is it going to be the 5th of the day for the South East Sharks? It is. What a brilliant take and a really nice arcing run round. Andy Pennisard from CSSC for the South Sharks. And they are advancing into a 5-1 lead, and now it's going to become increasingly difficult for the South East Taipans to get back into this game, and they can't be affording to give away any silly mistakes. They've got to now take every opportunity that comes their way. So 10 minutes to go in this second half. The Sharks really looking to try and put this game to bed and out of reach of the South East Taipans. Really good pace, brilliant pass. Oh, and just over the head of Alex Berger, the number 14, England men's 40 player. Just couldn't claim the ball as it agonisingly just went over him. Well, the South East Sharks side, If you've just joined us for the second half, it is packed with international experience. A lot of these players representing England's men's 40s, England's men's 35 squads. And they'll be looking to try and do so again. Of course, this is such an important weekend for just that. Players will be looked at, they'll be scouted, they'll be picked for the high performance camps. And there are so many different squads now for England. It's just growing and growing. England touch. We've had a packed summer full of incredible tournaments. So many brilliant games and fantastic memories being made from this summer. All started out in Malaysia at the World Cup as the ball's flinged out to the left-hand side. Great take. I think it's a score as well. It is. Well, a superb take. Almost falling to his knees as he was taking it. And used his position to get the ball to the floor even quicker. Brilliant stuff from the South East Sharks. And they're into a 6-1 lead and the game looks done and dusted. So the Taipans looking to try and just get anything really, a foothold into this, just something to cling on to. Just the final attacks, just letting them down. Silly errors, but they'll look to push on from that, they'll look to move on. Of course, without the likes of Nicholas Heath as well, who's gone out to Japan actually for the Rugby World Cup. A victory early on in the day for the South East Taipans. So 5 minutes then remaining. Have the South East Taipans given themselves a springboard to miraculously get back into this? 5 minutes is a long time in touch rugby. And just look at the energy levels and the bounce that's just given them. Space potentially opening up. Lovely 1-2. And trying to spread it out to the right-hand side, but a block from Matt Allpress stops that attack going any further, but the Taipans have really got the wind in the sails at the moment. Meaningful touch there. Just almost nudging him back, just showing his presence. Taipans looking to try and go for the line. Weave the way through. Still with all